Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of DGS2 Case 2. We have Potency back up at the stand and we're going to find out what exactly happened to him and where that poison came from. But I'm sure at this point, Potency cannot be trusted. Mike, please. Contradictions in the tea. Is the sound okay? I feel like it got louder all of a sudden. The Japanese man brewed the red tea in his kettle and visited my room that night. Then, he secretly slipped poison only into my cup. On top of that, he pretended to be so absorbed in the debate that he didn't drink a single cup of his own tea. Then he left, and I used the leftover tea in his cup to make my coins. That's why they couldn't have found any poison in the tea left behind in the soap. The poison was slipped into the victim's teacup after the tea was poured into it. If you put yourself in the criminal's shoes, it's only natural you would have done it that way.
It wouldn't end well for him if he forgot the poison was in the kettle and refilled his own cup after all.
But there was no storage vessel found at the crime scene that could have contained the poison. Naturally, the Japanese man brought it back into his own room with him. Okay, but did you find that pot in his room? Did you examine the pot in the room? The vessel only becomes an issue if this were a suicide. I guess he's right. In other words, this makes it all quite clear. The cheap soap cannot possibly wash away the pitch-black suspicion surrounding the defendant. I may be a dirty gas thief. But, however, everyone, whoa! I have nothing to lose, and therefore no reason to lie.
Well,
that's true.
Now then, defense, conduct your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, potentially is slowly showing his true colors. I heard you and Souseki-san weren't acquainted before this. Is that correct? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. I knew him not, and he knew me not. Our only bond was ill fortune. And Shakespeare, apparently. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're trying to say right now. Oh dear. Before studying the law, I recommend you finish learning English. I thought I'd done pretty well with my studies. In any case, I must admit that the tea was exquisite. Except for the drop of poison inside, like the lovely rose has its thorns. And that is the extent of it.
Potency-sama seems to be doing better today than yesterday.
Either that, or I'm just doing worse. One of the two.
That fateful night,
after enjoying a small dinner at a tumble-down restaurant in my neighborhood, not a single thing passed through my throat but that reddish tea. However, the poison was lurking there from the start. Did he not drink a single cup? Let's, This is the cup Potency-san used. There's a reddish line left on the inside.
it's a tea stain. I believe the same thing happens with green tea.
Oh, really? I've never seen one. my, is that so? It's a rule that when someone gives you tea, you're supposed to drink it right away. Drink your tea while it's hot. Every Japanese person knows that. Apparently, some incorrect facts about Japanese culture have spread to the imperial capital. Okay, so that's Potenzi's cup, but Souseki doesn't have it. This is the cup Souseki-sama used. The inside is clean, unlike the other cups. I suppose he must have drained his cup in one gulp before a tea stain could form. That's what I always do. Well, if you sip it a little at a time, it gets cold. I'll teach you about tea ceremony next time we're back at our room. 2 teacups. The cups Potenzi-san and Souseki-san use. There's no tea stain in Souseki-san's cup. Okay, Potenzi, why don't you explain this? You say that Souseki-san didn't drink a drop of tea that night. But that's impossible. Oh my, what are you talking about, you black-clad oriental devil? These are the teacups that the victim and defendant drank from on the night of the crime. There is a definitive difference between those 2 teacups. Oh, that objection!
Definitive?
Difference. Look at the insides of the teacups. You'll notice that there's a ring here. This is a tea ring.
It's a stain that forms when tea is poured in and allowed to sit for a while.
However, there's no such ring in Souseki-san's cup.
Oh, you're right. It's completely clean.
What's your point? Yesterday, as Souseki-san also testified, in Japan, we have the following saying.
Drink
Your tea?
Wow, it's hot!
In other words, yes! Impatient Souseki-san gulped down his tea in 1 gulp again that night too. Oh. You're in for it now, buddy! If after you testified he didn't drink a drop, there would be a clear ring in his teacup from having been abandoned for several hours.
Well,
Which means, Potenzi-san, you're obviously lying. Get thee to a nunnery! He's actually drinking his wine! What the crap? I never employed more than 7 Lord Chalices in a single trial. That's quite a few. However, I can't claim that the bottle has never run out when I was paying attention. Why are you telling me this? People's memories are vague things. That's the point I was trying to make. William Potenzi. Yes, my lord. You stated that you used the defendant's tea to make your ice coins that night, but are you certain you weren't simply mistaken? For example, take the little teapot that was left at the crime scene. Was there no tea left inside it? Impressive, your lordship. How truly insightful. It's almost as if you've been watching me from that night. Watching me that night? What? That's right. I was completely mistaken. I intended to use the Japanese man's tea, but when I peered into his cup, I found it empty. So I had no choice but to use the plentiful amount of tea that remained in the teapot. That doesn't explain the stain in your cup. Oh, come on. You can't decide now that you've made a mistake. That's incredibly fishy. I'm with you, Naruhodō. The human memory isn't perfect. That's why we must discuss things using evidence. Besides, it's not a significant problem to begin with. There are 2 points in the testimony that the victim just gave. One is that it was the victim's teacup that had the poison in it, and the other is that the ice coins were made with tea from another source. And that is all.
You're quite right.
That part of the testimony is still valid. In other words, the cape's off, Sonny! The contradiction the defense has insisted upon does not exist.
But
So then what does this all mean?
Does this really mean that there's nothing wrong with that gas thief's testimony?
Well, I think the fact that he's a gas thief is in and of itself something wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, poor Potensi swears before you. After my evening meal that night at 5 p.m. at the tumble-down restaurant in my neighborhood. What restaurant? Not a single thing passed my lips besides that Japanese man's tea.
incidentally, what did you have for dinner?
I indulge in two of my very favorites, a soup-like substance and a salad-like substance. What a curious menu. You gods will give us some faults to make us men. For my status as a 30 gas thief, I will take whatever punishment you can throw at me. However, there's just one thing I'd like to say to you clever ladies and gentlemen. And that's that, and this is this. Juror 5's just like, I beg you, jurors, pass a suitable judgment on that Japanese man.
Your Honor! If I may.
What is it, head juror?
We may have been fooled by that defense attorney.
Fooled. Okay, how many times have you been fooled by the defense attorney at this point and have been proven wrong? By me?
You could be right.
We know that the skinny guy there was cheating on his gas bill with ice coins.
Isn't it only natural that a gas thief would get slipped a little poison once in a while? That's a line of bull that defense attorney nearly had me buying.
I never said that.
However, the words the victim just uttered have awoken me at last. This time, we've reached an unshakable conclusion.
The jurors have just called for a verdict. The court must hear it.
It can't be. Please, wait!
Now then, jurors, state your verdicts.
Oh boy, let's prove them wrong again, kids. I'm just like, guys, do you not remember case 4 in the first game? How I've proven you wrong like twice? And now we're doing it a 4th time?
It appears that the jurors' votes are unanimous.
I'm so grateful and pleased. Oh my god, what is this dance? Macarena. This is bad. Your Honor, the defense would like to exercise its right to a final appeal.
Very well. The court acknowledges the defense is right.
Oh, honestly, a verdict has been reached. How do you fail to understand that?
In that case, we will now hear the second final appeal. Now then, jurors, hear the court's request. State your reasons and basis for deciding that the defendant is guilty.
The jurors' assertions. Let's go, kiddies.
I'm an incredibly rational gentleman. I determine his guilt by considering all the evidence.
I agree. Gas is too expensive. I understand why someone would want to steal it.
It explodes and poisons people. Gas is incredibly dangerous stuff.
Gas doesn't grow on trees. It costs money to deliver it around town, and to keep it safe.
I've decided I need to be more careful with the tea my mum makes for me.
If the victim didn't consume anything else that night, then that settles it.
I feel like some of these testimonies seems a little off topic.
It appears that the point in question has been somewhat derailed by the gas issue. But I suppose that's alright.
Are you sure it's alright?
It's true, our case isn't exactly airtight. And Potensi-sama really did collapse due to poisoning.
Then how on earth are we going to overturn this verdict?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe you'll simply have to find how else Potensi-sama could have been poisoned. And prove it.
But that'll be impossible in this situation.
However, if you can't do that, then Souseki-sama will
be declared guilty.
Now then, the defense will begin its final appeal.
Potensi in the background. Let's do this. You're number 4 here. Could you forget the gas just for a moment?
Our gas is under general attack right now, you know? You expect me to just sit quietly and take it? Well, I refuse!
Yari yari.
You've all been running your mouths about how our splendid gas is expensive, and explosive, and poisonous. What about electricity? That rubbish will give you an electric shock. A little bzzz. It'll come after you snapping and crackling, you know. What's a little explosion now and then?
I preferred we were spared any explosions, but I agree. Any kind of theft is difficult to let go.
Incidentally, gas thieves aren't the only thing we're up against. We battle day and night against a far more sinister foe.
Far more sinister foe. What might that be?
Other gas companies, of course.
Capitalism. Other gas companies? I didn't expect that answer.
We manufacture gas and make sure it gets to our customers.
That makes sense. That's what a gas company does, after all.
However, there are some dishonest gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas to sell.
Huh? But if they don't have any gas, then doesn't that mean they have nothing to sell?
That's the thing. Those types steal our gas and sell that.
They steal your gas? But how?
Gas companies use pipes to deliver everyone their gas. But that dishonest lot secretly reconnect those pipes to other ones. And those pipes are connected to houses that have a contract with them. And that's how they manage to steal our valuable gas from us without us knowing.
Dishonestly rerouting pipes at their own convenience. What a brazen way of stealing.
When we go around collecting fees from our customers, we have to ask them whether they've encountered any of these dishonest gas companies as well.
Oh, okay. You alright, dude? Is everything alright, Juror 3?
Me? Yes, sorry, I had something on my mind.
Looks like I caught him off guard. Talk about an immediate effect. Did something occur to you while you were listening to Juror 4?
Yeah. Well, I just couldn't help feeling a little annoyed.
Annoyed?
An investigator from the Altamont Gas Company came round to my place the other night. He said something like, "We'd like your secret assistance in our investigation regarding dishonest gas usage." So I let the chap in, but, well, what do you think he did?
I can't even begin to guess. What did he do?
He removed the gas lamp from the wall, and he put his mouth right in the pipe. And blew into it like, "Pfft!"
Hold it, you! Don't go blabbing our trade secrets to everyone in the room!
Oh, everyone already knows about this. Anyway, thanks to him, things went to hell in a handbasket.
How do you mean?
Allow me to explain. As I stated earlier, ill-reputed gas companies have been reconnecting their pipes to ours.
What does that have to do with blowing into the pipes?
There's gas flowing through those pipes. There's not much pressure in those pipes. If you blow into the pipes, the gas pressure raises temporarily. When that happens, the flames in every lamp that's connected to that pipe waver.
Ah, I see. So in other words, for example, if the flames of the gas lamps in the house next door, which doesn't have a contract with your company, waver when you blow into that pipe, then you know for sure that they're using your gas dishonestly. Is that right?
Ah, I think we figured out why there are so many handprints in particular on one side of Potenzi's room.
Quite. It's just as you say. Therefore, we've been sending our investigators to perform confirmations using the wavering of the gas lamp flames.
So then... Wait, no way!
That's right. All the flames in the lamps and the stoves throughout the house went out, and we had a major gas leak.
Oh god.
If you blow into the pipe too hard, the gas flow will be temporarily disrupted.
Before I knew what I was doing, I started screaming at him. "You trying to kill us all?" I shouted.
So if you remove the lamp, put your mouth on it and blow really hard, all the lamps and stoves in the house would be extinguished, excuse me. Then once the flow resumes, the gas fumes will start silently filling the room. Yeah!
Naruhodō-sama, this might be...
Yes, this could be the clue we've been looking for. Juror 3, would you mind adding what you were telling us to your statement?
Sure, I don't mind.
Well, I certainly do. After all, our investigation methods...
Like I said, you might be surprised at how well known this is.
I mean, come on, people, you come in and you blow pipes in, like, in people's homes. People are gonna start gossiping.
In that case, Juror 3, please update your assertion.
Sure, I don't know what good it'll do though. If you put your mouth onto a gas pipe and blow into it hard, all the flames in the house will go out and plunge you into a gas fume hell.
Alright, we're gonna pit Juror 3. How did I do this again? Okay. Juror 3 with Juror 6. There's an obvious contradiction between these two claims.
Did you say a contradiction? With her statements?
Juror 6, did you hear the claim Juror 3 just made?
Yes, I certainly did. He definitely mumbled something over there.
You actually heard something? Another possibility. This might just be one such possibility. The other thing the victim put in his mouth besides Souseki-san's tea.
What? A possibility?
Out of curiosity, did the police investigate the openings of the gas pipes at the crime scene to see whether there were any traces of poison there? I wonder what sort of desperate rubbish you'd spew next. Gas pipe openings. There was no need for the yard to do something so pointless. Potensi, what a piece of work is a man. Is there something you'd like to say, Potensi-san? What is this nonsense? This is what I must ask thee! Oh, don't do that like you're riding a horse. I think I was being pretty clear, but alright then, I'll rephrase it. There was strychnine painted on the openings of the gas pipes connected to the lamps in your room. It's possible that's how the poison entered your system. What? Hold on, I'm sorry. When in my investigation did I find strychnine at the gas pipe openings? I don't remember this at all. Like, this feels like a piece of information that was missed when this translation was done. But hey, okay, there was strychnine in the openings of the gas pipes. Whee!
What?
I mean, I know that's what we're gonna lead to, but I'm sitting here like, I don't remember if we did this in the investigation.
You're saying that gas pipes taste good when you lick them?
That he was so hungry that he tried to fill his stomach with gas?
Perhaps he simply needed something to practice a kissing scene with.
These jurors are savage. I love them. No, I'm not. I am not such a fool that I exchange kisses with a gas pipe. The likes of this can't even be considered a final appeal, Japanese boy. The court can't allow you to go spewing whatever baseless theories pop into your head. For starters, the lamps are fixed to the wall at a considerable height. It would take quite a feat to reach one's mouth up there. Just get a box. Proving that washed-up actor did such a thing is quite impossible. That was 2 wines being tossed in a row. You're right. I don't have any proof that he kissed the gas pipe. However, so far, the fact that Potensi-san has repeatedly stood right in front of the gas lamps in his room and done something can be proven. And I have the evidence to do so.
Fascinating. How can you be so sure?
Yes, he's right. We'll need to see that evidence.
Yes, the jurors are generally willing to listen. All I have to do now is press forward. The victim has stood before those lamps countless times, and this is the evidence that proves it. Are we gonna take this though, is the question. Where is it? This one? Yes. I can't see from here.
What's this?
As I recall. Oh right, these are finger traces left at the crime scene.
Finger traces? I've never heard of such a thing. If you mean fingerprints, they are currently being accepted as evidence.
Are they?
It's the personal scientific investigation method of the great detective Sherlock Holmes. Okay, I'm really not sure they're gonna take this, but fingerprints they can find. And it's what's caused the traces left behind after Potensi-sama touched something to appear like this.
That's insane! Sounds like witchcraft to me.
However, that famous detective might just be capable of such a thing.
Indeed, the engineer's thumbprint in this month's edition was quite a fascinating read.
There were traces on the desk and stage costumes, places that would be touched during the course of a normal day. But Potensi-san also touched some rather unexpected things. Here, for example. Around the painting. He doesn't seems to have touched it many times.
Maybe he just wanted a good close look at it.
That's what we thought too at first, but if one were to stand in front of the wall and put both their hands here, there would be a certain something right in front of them.
Right in front of... Ah!
It's... a gas pipe.
His reason for doing so isn't clear, but Potensi-san put his hands on the wall countless times and stood right in front of his gas lamps.
Oi, you! Why would you do such a thing?
He's not gonna answer that, but he is so caught. If you could please recall Juror 4's claim.
Mine?
If you put your mouth on a gas pipe and blow into it, all the flames in every gas lamp in the wall will waver. And Juror 3 previously said this.
Me now?
The investigator who came to my place was a bloody show-off. He blew into the pipe as hard as he could. All the flames in the lamps and stoves throughout the house went out, and we had a major gas leak. That time it was an accident, but what we can say for sure is that if one were to blow hard into here, one could stop all the gas in the boarding house at their whim.
Ah.
So then, it can't be. He purposely caused the gas to...
The prosecution should not speak up during the final appeal. However, I cannot just sit idly by and watch the defense trample the law.
What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks?
Regarding those incredibly suspect finger traces you presented earlier, I scarcely need to say this, but they can't be considered evidence of any real consequences.
But it's a scientific investigative method developed by a famous detective, so...
It's something made up by an amateur who calls himself a famous detective. It's nothing more than a toy.
That's true. It may be part of some research conducted by Mr. Holmes, but this can't be accepted as evidence.
There we go, there it is. But... Oh, she spoke up!
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Susato-san.
Defense does not intend to present this to the court as evidence. At the very most, it's the result of the great detective's personal investigation, which we have shown the jurors to prove them food for thought. If we were to end this trial here and now, we would never know the truth behind these mysterious handprints. Are you sure you're alright with that, jurors?
Are they? We'll have to find out in the next video because we are way over time now, so I'll see you guys then.
An investigator from the Almont Ascom...